Hey guys, here we are with our Geometry Chapter 10 study guide, and I'm going to do my best to walk through these problems as efficiently as possible. So looking at number 1, this is a parallelogram, and the formula for parallelogram is area equals base times height. So my base would be 19 and my height would be 13. I would do 19 times 13 and get 247. So my area would be 247 units squared. All right, then find the area of the parallelogram below. Well, this one has a 45-degree angle, and that is also a height, so it is a right angle. So what I would do is I would go ahead and redraw my triangle, knowing this is 45, knowing this is 16, and this is my 90. And then I would label my sides. This would be 45, so this would be N, this would be N, and this would be N rad 2. I would need to solve for that, so I would have 16 equals N rad 2. I would divide by rad 2 and divide by rad 2, and I would have N equals 16 over rad 2, but I can't have a radical on the bottom, so I have to rationalize and multiply the top and the bottom by rad 2, and I would get 16 rad 2 over 2. Well, these simplify down to 8, so my new height would be 8 rad 2. So now I can take my base, area equals my base times my height, and my base was 24, and I will multiply that by 8 rad 2, and I will get 192 rad 2 units squared. Okay, so for this one, you can go ahead and divide it up any way you see possible. The way I saw it is I went ahead and I focused on my small rectangle first. And I multiplied 16 by 11, and I got 176. So I knew that was 176. And then I looked at my large rectangle, and I saw that the whole base was 34. So I was going to take 34 and subtract this 16, and I would get 18. So I knew this base right here was 18. All right, and then for my height, I had to take this 8 and this 11 and add them together, and I would get 19. And then for my area, I multiplied 18 times 19, and I got 342. All right, so 342. Then I looked at my triangle. And I knew that the base was going to be the same measure as the square because they line up. So my base was going to be 18. My height was going to be this total height, 29, minus the 8, and minus the 11, because I only want this piece right here. And I would get 10. So I would multiply them by each other, 18 times 10, and divide by 2 because it's a triangle. I would get 180 divided by 2 and get 90. So I would add the 3 together, 90 plus 342 plus 176, and get 608 units squared. All right, so area of this triangle is going to be your base, which is times your height divided by 2, and my base is 22 times my height which is 13, and divide it by 2, I would get 143 units squared. This one's a little straightforward. Right. Sorry guys, I know this is going to be a long video. I'm trying to not make you pee, but it's hard to go over all this stuff. Okay, so here I have a 60 and a 90 and a 30. So, per usual, I'm going to redraw my triangle. Hopefully yours looks nicer than mine just turned out. And I'm going to label my sides. Across from the 60 is the NRAD 3. And remember, that's actually going to be my height if we look at this triangle. This is going to be 2n, and this is going to be n. So I'm going to solve for my 2n equals 20, divide by 2, n equals 10. Alright, so if this side equals 10, then I know that my hypotenuse side, my 60 side, my height is n rad 3. It's simply going to be 10 rad 3. So I'm going to find my area by doing my base times my height divided by 2. And that is going to be 32 for my base times my height, which is 10 rad 3, and divide by 2. So 320 rad 3 divided by 2, and you will get 160 rad 3 units squared. Okie doke. Moving down to number 6. Area of a trapezoid. Area equals B1 plus B2 times your height divided by 2. Well, I have both my bases and my height, so this problem is pretty straightforward. 10 plus 14 times my height, which is 6 over 2. That would be simplified down to 144 over 2, which equals 72 units squared. Alright guys, here comes a tricky one, and this is definitely one you'll want to pay attention to if you've tuned me out by now. The area of a trapezoid is 540 centimeters squared. The perimeter is 71 centimeters long. If one leg is 17 and the other leg is 18, find the height of a trapezoid. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a diagram. Alright, I know that one leg is 17 and one leg is 18. They want me to find the height. Alright, well don't forget that area equals B1 plus B2 times your height divided by 2. Alright, so I'm going to find my bases. And I don't need to find each individual base, I just need to find the sum of them. So in order to find my bases, I'm going to take that perimeter, 540, I'm going to subtract one leg, and the other leg, that was the area. The perimeter, 71, minus one leg, 17, and the other leg, 18, and get 36. So I know that the sum of my two bases is 36. I'm going to rewrite that formula as 36 times my height divided by 2, and it's going to equal 540 because that is what my area is. So now I want to get rid of this 2. I'm going to multiply this side by 2, and these 2 will cancel out, and multiply this side by 2. And I will have left 1080 equals 36h. And I'll divide by 36 and divide by 36 and get h equals 30 centimeters. Okay, find the area of the shaded region below. I'm just going to give you the answer for this one because you will not have a problem like this on your test. If you want to go over it in class, that's fine, but this will not be on your test. Anything like that. Nothing to do with a circle. Okay, so we're down to the home stretch. Right, the area of a rhombus that has the diagonals 13 and 19 inches. So this would be 6.5, 6.5, and this would be 8.5, sorry, 9.5 and 9.5. Well, the area is simply D1 times D2 divided by 2. You would do 13 times 19 and divide it by 2, which would be 247 divided by 2 would give you 123.5 inches squared. All right, find the area of a rhombus with the perimeter equal to, sorry, that looks more like a square, 36, and a diagonal equal to 12. So here's our diagonal that's equal to 12, and our perimeter, well, we know all the sides are the same because it's a rhombus, so I'm going to take 36, divide it by 4, and get 9. So I know this is 9, and this is 9, and this is 9, and this is 9. And I also know that the diagonals of a rhombus create a right triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw that triangle. This is going to be 6, this will be 9, and this will be x. I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve it. So it's going to be 6 squared plus x squared equals 9 squared. 36 plus x squared equals 81. Minus that 36, minus 36, x squared equals 45. I'm going to write that as a reduced radical. All right, and that's going to be x equals, well, when I take the square root anyway, 3 rad 5. So now I know this is 3 rad 5, and this is 3 rad 5. I'm going to find my area by using D1 times D2 divided by 2. So diagonal 1 was 12, diagonal 2 is 6 rad 5, and I'll divide those by 2. And that's going to be 72 rad 5 divided by 2 is going to give me 36 rad 5 centimeters squared. All right, here we go with finding the area of a regular pentagon. Regular, remember all sides, all angles are congruent. So I'll just go ahead and mark those up first. And it has a side length equal to 30. Find the area. So remember, guys, area equals your apothem times your perimeter divided by 2. All right, and I always tell you to find your apothem and your perimeter. So perimeter, oh, we can find there's 5 sides, and each side is 30, so our perimeter is going to be 150. The next thing you want to find is your central angle. Oh, and that's kind of hard to see, sorry. Central angle. And remember, that's 360, because right here in the center is our central angle, and divided by 5, the number of sides. All right, well that will give me 72, but then my apothem comes down and cuts it in half. So we divide it by 2 again and get 36. So now I have a triangle over here that I'll redraw. I know this is 36. I want to find the apothem, and I know that this side now is 15 since the original full side was 30. It's cut in half, remember? So I'm going to put my googly eyes on it. This is my opposite. This is my adjacent, which is tangent. So I'm going to say tangent 36 equals 15 over my apothem. All right. I'm going to end up by multiplying both sides by a and have tangent 36 times a equals 15. And now divide by tangent 36 to get a alone, and divide by tangent 36 to get a alone, and you'll get your apothem equals 20.65. Now I can find my actual area. That's going to be my perimeter, 150 times my apothem, which was 20.65, divided by 2, which will give me 1,548.43 units squared. Okay, and then find the area of a regular heptagon. So bear with me as I attempt to draw a heptagon. All right, well, I know area is equal to my apothem times my perimeter divided by 2. All right, and my apothem I need to find. My perimeter, I know each side length is 16. So I'm going to do 16 times 7, and my perimeter is going to be 112. So 16, 16, 16. All right, next I want to find my central angle, which is 360 divided by the number of sides, 7 in this case, which will give me 551.43, and then divide that by 2 because the apothem comes down and cuts it in half. All right, and that will give me 25.71. So now I'm going to redraw my triangle over here. I need to find my apothem. I know this angle is 25.71. And I know the side, since it was cut in half, is 8. Googly eyes would tell me that this is my opposite and this is my adjacent, which would be tangent. So I would have tangent 25.71 equals 8 over A. Multiply both sides by A. Tangent 25.71 times A equals 8. Divide by tangent 25.71. And get A equals 8 over tangent 25.71. And my apothem would be equal to 16.62. And then I would find my area. Area equals 16.62 times my perimeter, which was 112, and divide it by 2. I would get 930.72 units squared. Okay, let's go ahead and look at if the perimeter of a rectangle is 24 and the area is 27, find the length of the base and the height. Well, what I did is I just tried to find factors of 27, sorry, not 24, that when I add them together, would add up to 24. So here's 9 and 9 and 3 and 3. Those probably should have put on the other sides. And if I add them together, they do equal 24. So my base and height are 3 and 9. Okie doke, that's it. Make sure that you go over the review problems we did in class today also. Those are super important. Okay, bye guys.